Don't count us out because we're young, because what we are experiencing is valid. We've been through more mass shooting school drills than fire drills. That perspective is important.
Is Congress ready for Gen Z?
If you feel like this time is different, let me hear you make some noise.
Maxwell Frost, the 25-year-old who won the Democratic primary in Florida's 10th congressional district, says yes.
As potentially the youngest member of the House, are you worried about garnering respect or support from an overwhelmingly senior Democratic caucus?
I'm not. I was the only person that got support from current members of Congress. 3 U.S. senators, multiple members of Congress, 2 congressional caucuses that represent over half of House Democrats supported me during this split campaign. I'm sure there's going to be points where I do need to work to earn some more respect more than other people because of my age, but that's nothing I'm not used to, right? I'm used to being doubted because of my age. I'm used to being doubted as a young Black Afro-Cubano man. But you know what? I think about that Maya Angelou quote, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. And when I walk into a space, I come with my community and I come with the people who support me. And so I feel like I'm ready to take on the challenge.
Prior to his bid to join the U.S. House of Representatives, Frost served as the National Organizing Director for March for Our Lives and a National Organizing Specialist for the ACLU.
What inspired me to run was I was actually asked by a few folks early last year to run for office. And I'll be honest, the first thing I said was no. Actually, the first thing I said was hell no. What helped me change my mind was actually connecting with my biological mother. I was adopted at birth, never had met her, had a conversation, didn't really know anything about her before. For me as an organizer, there's a quote by Dr. Cornel West that I carry in my heart. He says, we got to see the world through the eyes of the most vulnerable. And being on the phone with my biological mother, she said, Max, I want you to know I had you at the most vulnerable point in my life. And hearing her say that, someone I'd never spoken with before, I hung up the phone and I said, I'm running for Congress.
It was the 2012 shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School that awakened Frost's activism and centered gun reform as one of the issues closest to his heart.
And I remember it specifically. I saw what happened and I begged my parents to let me go to Washington, D.C. for the memorial. It was there that I met someone named Matthew Soto.
He was 16 and he had lost his sister Vicky in the shooting. She's actually the teacher that when she heard the gunshots, she hid her kids in the closet to save their lives. And she didn't make it. Seeing a 16-year-old, the demeanor of a 60-year-old, changed my whole life. I went straight to my hotel room. I called my mother. I thought about my little sister, and I said, for the rest of my life, I'm going to fight for a world where no one has to feel the pain I saw Matthew feel that night. And that's been my charge.
As potentially the first Gen Z member of Congress, what do you feel your win could signify for the future of our congressional bodies?
Don't count us out because we're young. Don't count us out because we might not have as much lived experience, because what we are experiencing is valid. I grew up in a generation where we've been through more mass shooting school drills than fire drills. That perspective is important because we get the urgency of this issue, and that urgency is needed in Congress. I think it's important that we have a Congress that looks like the country as far as age and experience, because that's how we're going to pass legislation that actually champions working class families.